If there was one fix that you could choose out of everything in WWE 2K25 that could make the game experience automatically better for you, what would it be? I went ahead and asked this question and I got a lot of answers, right? But me personally, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of answers that I was like, there's just no way this would make the game better for you, right? Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. Shout out to Big Righteous. He says the AI. I will say the AI was really good when the game first dropped, and it feels like every time that they do a patch on this game, the AI seems to kind of revert, like, just little by little. It just gets worse every time. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like, I just feel like the AI is just not as good after every patch. I feel like every patch kind of makes it worse. I don't know, just my 2 cents, right? I think that, you know, the patches, they are good, but we are aware that they like to, you know, do patches, they fix things, and then they break other things. It's just a cycle, you know, that we are in with this game, and, you know, we've been in this cycle for years. They try their very best to work on this game, get things in there, but when it comes down to certain things, they do break, and I guess that's just the nature of trying to fix something that was broken. Now you probably mess with something in there that broke something else. Yeah, this guy said lower the price. I personally don't know how this will make your game experience better. The game is priced just like every other game out there. I don't know, man. Personally, for me, I don't know personally. I mean, he did say that was for me personally. He looks like he hasn't been able to get the game, but the game was on sale around WrestleMania season. It went on a very quick sale right after release. So just my 2 cents with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this would make your game experience better, but just my 2 cents. You know, I hope that, you know, lowering the price, if you don't have it, I hope that, you know, you're able to get the game soon, because it should be available on sale at multiple places at this point. Honestly, it's around that time of year, and again, WrestleMania season, we did have a sale for this game. This is not one thing, it's whole lots of things in one. Put community creations back in. I'll stop it right there. You're saying community creations definitely needs to go on ahead and bring the cross-platform back. And one big fix for me that I would personally love to see would be the recent tab. Now, the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of good work from other creators that are unfortunately being buried because the most downloaded characters are coming up first, and there is no way to see, oh, you know, what has been updated recently. And I think I know why it's not there, and it's because with the recent tab, since no one is downloading any of that explicit stuff that kids may be seeing on this game, it's a good way to go on ahead and filter that out without having to do too much. But I do think that in the end, it is canceling out some of, you know, the creators' hard work, especially if they're not known on social media. And I've even seen people that are known on social media not get as much love because it's really hard to find at times, because you got to click the right trigger over and over until you find it. And, you know, I just think that there could be a better way to filter those explicit images out with the new stuff that creators are putting a lot of time and work into. But yes, I agree, cross-platform community creations, I'm going to talk about that soon in a different video, but I would really like to see that back in the game. I think that a lot of people's work we're not able to see, and especially those people on PS4, Xbox One, they're not really getting that much love as well. But honestly, I do think that we are getting prepared for the inevitable, and we are going to see 2K26 on just current gen only consoles only. And I think for me personally, that would be one of my desired wishes, if I'm being completely honest. Hate me if you want to, but I definitely think that this game needs a breath of fresh air, and I think bringing that to those consoles would be much better. Someone said show intros. Show intros would be really cool to see back in this game. Personally, for me, I think that, you know, that's something that I don't know if it would make my game experience that much better, right? Because we're just talking about a cutscene before a universe mode episode, but I do think that this is something that is worth people's time, in my opinion, right? I think that this is something people have been asking for a while, especially if you are a content creator or someone that just likes the authentic experience. Of course, you want the pyro and the show intros, and you want all the bells and whistles that could possibly come with a universe mode, especially when we have seen this before. So just my 2 cents, I think that I definitely agree with that, and hopefully we do see that in next year's game as well. Make the gameplay more like 2K19. It was more realistic back then. I don't know, man. I have a hard time getting on this train, right, around gameplay and trying to speak on gameplay being bad or not being realistic. I think that right now we're at a point where it's, all right, we're getting the arcadey type of gameplay, but we're also getting the simulation styled gameplay. And honestly, I really like this mesh that we currently have, right? Instead of everything just being super ultra realistic, I prefer, you know, being able to have some funny stuff going on, but also have that sim style. It gives me, you know what I'm saying, 2K14 vibes, WWE 13 vibes, where we were still playing a sim style game, but we still had a lot of arcadey speeds, a lot of arcadey things going on. So honestly, I understand if this would make it better for you, but I really like the mesh that we have, the button and some of the features within the gameplay. Of course, I would love to switch that, you know, such as stun meters and a bunch of other stuff. I don't want to go too in depth, but I can definitely see, you know, some changes happening within this current style of gameplay that we have. But to go all the way back to 2K19, I don't think we're gonna get that type of gameplay ever back. But if that would make the game better for you, hey, so be it. This person said, free roaming in My Rise. My faction unlockable is easier to get. So free roaming in My Rise, that would definitely be cool. I think a lot of people want that. I've spoken about it with Road to WrestleMania already in the past. So I think that this would be really cool to see in a My Rise mode. And we also have the My Faction unlockables, which is easier to get. So yes, My Faction unlockables definitely need some sort of overhaul, right? Because the pack prices and everything are super high. And I just don't know if that's the way that 2K wants to continue going, being that it has turned off so many people, including myself, from the mode. I haven't played the mode, guys, in over 3 weeks, if I'm being completely honest. I might sign on here and there, you know, open some packs like the pack opening video that we did, but that's probably the only time that I've gotten on this mode since like 3 weeks ago. And the reason why is because of all the changes, and it's just turning into a mode where it was a very different side that we've seen in this mode with the world tour and everything at the very beginning of the release. But now we're looking at something that looks completely different, and it's just not my cup of tea, just personally speaking. And I hope that it is something that can be changed, as I was a very big fan of the mode and I didn't mind pushing the mode because I thought that it actually started off very well this year. Now that it has gone to the point where it's not doing its thing anymore and it's not really gravitating towards people or gravitating towards myself especially, I don't feel the need to really want to push that mode because I'm not even playing it myself. If you guys see me pushing or talking about something or enjoying something, it's because I'm genuinely enjoying it. If I feel the need to not post about it or not play it, I'm not going to speak about it in the greatest light because there's obviously something wrong, you know, with the game itself or the mode itself, just in that mode specifically. So just my 2 cents with My Faction. I hope that a common ground and balance can be found between the company, the developers, and the consumers, because I feel like it's just very pushed towards one side at the moment, and the mode is just not in its greatest state. And someone said removing My Faction, right? I don't know if that would make the game experience better, if I'm being completely honest. Now, you guys may have a point and say, oh, you know, they can use those resources towards other things, sure. But regardless, what we've seen before in this game, we are going to continue seeing even if My Faction is not around. I personally don't think that would increase my player experience, but I can see why people would want it gone. They think that some of these characters would be patched in. I don't even think 2K may even bother to patch a lot of these characters in or a lot of these persona cards in. I just don't think it would happen. I think that we wouldn't have it at all, to be completely honest, right? And I think that a lot of people missed the point in that we didn't get this in patches before My Faction, so why would it happen if My Faction is gone, right? I like the option to be able to dabble in that mode. Obviously, right now, I've made it very clear I'm not really into that mode at the moment, but when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad, and that's just what it is. I just don't know if that would make the game a lot better because no modes have really been removed from My Faction, right? You still have Universe mode, you still have Exhibition, you still have Showcase, My Rise. It's just an extra addition to the game. So just my 2 cents with that. And lastly, people spoke about the island being removed and unlockables and things like that. Personally, I don't mind the island, but yes, I mean, it's super expensive. There's not a lot going on, but you can avoid it if you want to, right? Obviously, a lot of their resources and time went towards this mode, and to me personally, it was a fail looking from a consumer standpoint, where I think that if we go back, maybe this mode should have not made it in this year. Maybe we should have waited an extra year. Make sure that it's really what you want it to be, right? Because first impression is everything. People already didn't want this mode in the first place. You decided to drop this mode, you know, not being able to play tag team matches and do different things that I think a lot of people would want to do with their friends. And now we're kind of in this vortex, right, where a lot of people don't think this mode is good, and rightfully so. I really haven't given it much playtime since the first week of release, and I thought that it was, you know, a decent mode looking at it at first glance. And, you know, it still has a lot of potential in my opinion, but I just felt that maybe holding back on this mode instead of giving sort of what looks like maybe a beta, I don't know if that's the right word, I just think that it could have gotten a way better first impression. Dropping this maybe in 2K26 when it is actually ready, you know, to take part of a lot of those features that you want it to see in a mode like this. But nonetheless though, let me know down below, what would you like to see to make WWE 2K25 better, or the next year better, right? We're always, you know, talking about the next year and the now. I mean, there's just a lot of time to go for 2K26, but I'm sure 2K would appreciate this, because if you guys go and look at the tweet, one of the developers, shout out to Cornell, this guy is always trying to interact with people, trying to see, you know, what can they do better and what can he pass forward to the team. So shout out to Cornell, man, for taking a look at the thread and making me aware that he looked at the thread. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for more. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.